Right, kids, have you done your homework? The teacher is in session. Let me get my glasses. Very droopy meat sacks. I had a teacher that was exactly like them and spoke exactly like them. I'm just going to draw a circle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's awful. That's my attempt. You can tell that I don't have the right. If there's a fine motor aspect to this quiz, I would be absolutely awful. Executive dysfunction is a part of many different diagnoses. ADHD, autism, but it can also come as a result of things like depression, things like long-term chronic anxiety, GAD. Executive function is basically the ability of your brain to manage itself. Cleaning, things like basically doing those life things, those life chores that we have to do as human beings, for some of us can be fairly difficult. Well, today we've got a video from RJIK Dehas, which is the executive functioning test. See what my score is. I imagine it's going to be very pitiful.
In this video, we're going to test your executive functioning, and when we're done, you will have an individual profile of your executive functioning deficits, so that you can understand yourself better and know what to work on. With one of my dyslexic coaching clients, we took a look at his diagnostic assessment, and they also included a test for executive functioning. The test used was the Barkley Deficits in Executive Functioning Scale. So I decided to use this official diagnostic tool for the basis of this video. That being said, I adapted it, I had to shorten it quite a bit, and I added information of my own. To make sure that we're on the same page here, I would like to give you a definition of executive functioning by Harvard University.
Probably be better than
executive
mine.
functioning and self-regulation skills are the mental processes that enable us to plan, focus attention, remember instructions, and juggle multiple tasks successfully. Just as an air traffic control system at a busy airport safely manages the arrivals and departures of many aircrafts on multiple runways, the brain needs this skill set to filter distractions, prioritize tasks, and set achievable goals.
And you can imagine that there's many aspects to being autistic which can get in the way of doing all of those things. You know, when we're talking about the concept of monotropism versus polytropism, the tendency of us to be drawn in by one particular task or object and find it quite hard to break away from it, become very distressed if we are broken away from said task. That can be quite hard. That can be a difference that we see a lot in autistic people. People who are polytropic tend to be a lot better at sort of juggling multiple things and diverting their attention, switching from task to task a lot easier. Autistic people tend to struggle when it comes to transitions, being the time between ending and starting a new task. A lot of different aspects to it. And I think some of those particularly were around focusing attention. That makes sense. Juggling multiple tasks successfully. From what I've heard from other autistic people, I do find that usually when we are sort of able to focus in on one particular area, one particular piece of work, we tend to do a little bit better. Not everybody, of course. Some people have dual diagnosis, particularly with ADHD. And also when it comes to filtering distractions, you can imagine the altered sensory system that autistic people have. It would make sense, you know? And all of these things are things that I struggle with, particularly when it comes to life skills. They are actually pretty good overall. My executive function is very good, but it requires of me a lot of energy. So consistently doing these things, overall sort of long term throughout my life, it's quite hard to kind of stay on top of, given everything else. I think as well also because I tend to overextend myself in terms of the areas of work. Other stuff can be a bit harder because of, you know, if you give all your energy to one particular area in your day, you might not have the energy to take care of those sort of floating tasks that you need to get done throughout the week that are related to kind of life skills. It's a very interesting topic and something to think about. I do believe that there are some differences when it comes to how executive dysfunction can display in autistic people, particularly versus ADHDers, as you can imagine, controlling impulses, probably a lot more related to the ADHD. I think the sort of the reason behind, and we went into this when we watched a video about ADHD and autism. I think both can struggle with filtering distractions, but I think the cause of it is different. Like, I think in general, people who are ADHD tend to be a lot more distractible from things. You know, something props up in their environment and the media's sort of captivated by it. Not immediately, but more likely to be captivated by it and sort of stray off task. Whereas for autistic people, it may just be that we just can't cope in very highly sensory environments, you know. So I think there's a lot of differences there, and I suppose we could go in all day about like the potential reasons for it, but we are doing a test today. Sorry, I was distracted. Oh my god. Laundry I'm good at, but they sit in the laundry basket. Yes. I'm good at school and work, but life otherwise falls behind. Yes. My home is a disorganized mess and I'll never get to vacuuming, but it desperately needs it. And there we go. I feel like it's not really an issue when it comes to work, like things that I'm interested in, because I'm very, very good at planning and doing stuff. Like if it's like related to my interests or work, but like outside of that, it's definitely hard, and it's like I only have a limited amount of time during the day, and it's just, it can be overwhelming sometimes to try and fit in other stuff on top of what I want to do in terms of work. So it's hard. I start tidying and get distracted by something. It's almost like you have to pick up life skills as an extra hobby. You know, like some people will be like, oh, okay, you can like, you know, you have your work and then you have perhaps like one or two hobbies that you can do. One you do sort of during the week and one you do sort of in your own time. The whole doing the laundry, the cooking, all of those stuff is just like an extra hobby. And like the transition time between doing all of those things and like the resulting anxiety that I feel from just being in these sort of states of just trying to manage lots and lots of different little things. Man, it's very, very difficult for me. And I've read stuff about it and I've tried to implement stuff, but it just doesn't work. Like, it's, any tips that you have, please share them. Don't know why I did that.
And control impulses. Executive functioning is divided into 5 different sub-skill sets. The first one being self-management to time, self-motivation,
time blindness,
self-restraint,
that's another one,
self-organization and problem-solving, and self-regulation of emotion. We're going to go over all of them, and you can either copy the diagram that I showed you before, or you can simply keep track of the times you answered yes. And as a dyslexic myself, I'm going to do this right along with you. When it comes to self-organization and problem solving, you should ask yourself, do you feel like you're a bit slower than others when it comes to
yes, that's another aspect
in your daily life?
The slowness.
And also, do you find that you have trouble focusing at work, at tasks that need to get done? The next question is, do you easily get distracted by events or thoughts while you were actually trying to take care of the clutter in the closet? We were thinking that these bins take care of the issue, but, well, they didn't really. Do you have trouble organizing your thoughts? And maybe the state of your desktop is kind of reflecting that difficulty. Next question, do you find it difficult to consider different options for doing something and then weighing the consequences of each option?
No.
And also, is it harder for you to do things in the right sequence or order? These are things that I find quite difficult, so I answered yes 5 times. Would you say you find it hard to keep things in mind that you really shouldn't forget? And the second question is, do you tend to...
Hold your horses, Buckaroo. So I think I answered 3 yes, so I'd be sort of in the middle, I guess. What do you guys get? Give me your numbers. It's a very, very short and concise video, so I think they come very quickly. That's the only way to get anything done. Which way? If I have something else, or you like caring for them, the only way to get anything done is to play housewife. Interesting. Stopped cooking when I got chronically ill. That's another aspect of it, you know? Like when it comes to other co-occurring conditions like autism, inherently some executive dysfunction. Add in anxiety, add in depression, you can imagine that it's going to be like, add in ADHD even, 5 out of 5 mostly. Seeing a lot of 5s. I wasn't paying attention. God. How many times are you guys going to do that joke? And sometimes faster, but mostly slower at finding solution. Yes. That's the thing with me. It's like I can do these things, and I can do them to a really, really high degree, but it takes me a lot longer. That's the drawback. So like fitting all of it in terms of like the week, it's a lot more difficult. And then I've also got to think about the transitions between each of the tasks, and also at the end of doing this sort of managing life stuff. My God.
Would you say you find it hard to keep things in mind that you really shouldn't forget?
No. Yes, I do.
The second question is, do you tend to miss or be late for appointments?
Yes.
Another question that you might want to ask yourself is, would you say that you generally have a poor sense of time?
Yes.
A while ago, I, for example, had a
No, I don't
interview
actually.
scheduled with 2 professors, and they ended up waiting 45 minutes before I finally showed up because I was at home drinking coffee. It was terribly frustrating. Other things that you might observe in yourself are things like having trouble to get started on a particular task, or also
Artistic
that you
inertia.
tend to procrastinate, and then that you only get going when it's really close to a certain deadline, for example. So you really wait until the last minute. And the last question for this section is, do you have trouble following through on commitments or promises that you make to other people around you? Time management difficulties are quite familiar to me. So
it's like 3 or 4.
Here a very high score of 6 yeses. The next section is all about emotional self-regulation. And the first question
I think it's out of 6.
Do you tend to stay upset and emotional longer than other people around you?
No.
And also, would you say that you have a hard time calming yourself down once you've been in a emotional, difficult situation? Another question would be, do you find it difficult to reframe or redefine a negative event that happened and to see it in a more positive light?
No.
And also, do you tend to be more excitable than other people around you? Is walking away from an emotionally upsetting situation difficult for you?
No.
And would it be fair to say that you tend to overreact emotionally to different circumstances? No. This time I only collected a single yes. This next section is all about self-restraint. So we're taking a look at your impulsive
I think if I was to take... Oh, God, I keep messing up my clicks. If I was to take this test in adolescence, I would be like a 6, Is it 5? Oh, I don't know. But I think because of my interest in emotions and people, I think I've done a lot of work when it comes to that. It's not that I don't feel things; it's just that I feel things very, very intensely sometimes. But it's also I can't tell what I'm feeling a lot of the time because of alexithymia, and also I'm better at sort of managing that. We'll post your diagrams in the Discord. Are you guys actually like filling out the little profile? I should probably do that. I'm very lazy though. I actually do have tell you what, I'm actually going to do it. I've got a little notebook here that I've got many notebooks that I just have not touched. Story of my life. I love notebooks, but I don't use them. That's the issue. So what is it? It's a hexagonal diagram. I use that starting business ideas. There we go. No, that doesn't work either. That's got lines on it. God. Maybe I will go with the notebook. Oh, that's got it's not as stark lines. I could probably use that. Right. Pentagon. Can you not use notebooks? I want to have that skill too. I wish I could use notebooks though, because I like the idea of writing. I need to see a picture of this diagram thing again. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I did not do that right. I need to restart it. Oh no! Where's it gone? There we go. I'm going to do it again. I can feel it. I'm just going to knock it again. Right. Pentagon. That's the thing that we draw. Oh, I already messed up. Or I can correct it. There we go. That's my attempt at a pentagon. I think it's okay. What is there? There's 6 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. Oh my god. There's lines going everywhere. There we go. And then I've got to draw smaller pentagons within the pentagons. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. I'm just going to draw a circle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's awful. That's my attempt. You can tell that I don't have the right. If there was a fine motor aspect to this quiz, I would be absolutely awful. So you got which one is? So we're at 449. Self-restraint, self-org, problem. I don't like that the problem solving is the same as self-organization, because I'm very good at solving problems, but self-organization I'm not. I don't know why they're lumped into the same one. Self-regulation of emotion. Time, manage. Do you guys want to see my handwriting? This feels like a school project. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Right, kids, have you done your homework? The teacher is in session. Let me get my glasses. Have you guys seen South Park? That teacher, there was a teacher at my school who resembled. I can't remember what the name of the teacher was in South Park. The temp teacher that came in, the one with very droopy meat sacks. I had a teacher that was exactly like them and spoke exactly like them. Self-restraint, so that's that one, and mine was 3, I think. And then there was, what was the second one? Self-organization, problem solving. That was that one. I should have put points. I don't know why I didn't do points. Problem solving, did I score 3 or a 4? I'm just going to put it in the middle. And then regulation of emotion was in the middle. Right. I'm all caught up. And have we done the time one? Oh yeah, the time one was bad, wasn't it? No, I think it was about a 3. I'm just doing this loosely now. I don't want to put you through the entire video again. Droopy meat sacks. Yeah. I just didn't want to say boobs. That's what I didn't want to say. Right, we're at 449. I remembered that. I'm very proud of myself. Self-restraint. Let's go for it.
This next section is all about self-restraint. So we're taking a look at your impulsive tendencies and your ability to tolerate frustration, among other things. The first question in this section would be, do you find rules kind of difficult? Do you tend to maybe not follow them? And another question here is, are you more likely to participate in risk-taking activities? If self-restraint is an issue for you, you might find that you see something on social media and you just have to do it. It's really hard for you to stop yourself doing it. So then suddenly you have to find the perfect way to smoke a chicken. It would also be typical for you to have difficulty stopping your activity once you start it, even though you might know that you actually should be working.
Yes.
Another question would be, do you find it difficult to wait? Do people tend to describe you as impatient?
Nope.
And another one, if you talk to other people, do you make impulsive comments?
No.
Without really thinking about them first?
That's a 3.
Just, come out. This time I answered yes 3 times. When it comes to your self-motivation, you might find that your willpower and your determination is a little bit less compared to peers.
Wait, give me a second. Chill out, man. Wait, I feel like I've already done. I'm so confused. I filled in the wrong part, didn't I? That was the issue. The self-restraint was back to baseline. No, it wasn't. It was. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Why can't I remember? No, I'm falling apart at the seams. I think it was 2. Was it 2? Covered again by a face, we cannot see it, only the left side of the half. Oh yes, you're very right there. How about that? Hello. Yeah. Interesting. No one's going to recall my. I give up trying to do this. I think it was a 2. I'll give myself a 2. This is going to be the most messy thing ever. Right. Let's continue. What's the next one? Self-motivation.
3 types. When it comes to your self-motivation, you might find that your willpower and your determination is a little bit less compared to peers around you. And you might also find that the quality and the quantity of your output tends to be a bit inconsistent.
Yes.
You might also be more likely to skip out of work if it's kind of boring to you. So after 2 hours or so, I would tell myself, how about I go climbing now? And then later, I get back to work. And then later comes and I'm still at the climbing gym. So that tends to happen. Another question that you might want to ask yourself is, do you feel like you have to have an immediate payoff? And if you don't, things are just not getting done. And also, would you say that it's harder for you to work towards long-term goals? Now, for me, it's a lot easier if I focus on intrinsic motivation. So if these are things that I'm working toward that are really interesting to me, personally anyway, then it's easier to get them done. And lastly, would you say that you're unable to work as well as others without supervision? So maybe you don't have that many issues at work, but when you're working on your own project, you find it hard to motivate yourself. Over here, you can see my executive functioning deficits profile.
Probably
and for
do
me,
1.5.
Time management is one big issue that I'm working on, as well as self-organization. Now, if you would like to know how I deal with the emotional side of executive functioning, then you can have a look at the video right here. And I hope you got value out of this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Well, I found with this that
if you think that you might have dyspraxia, you came to the right place. I have a little test for you with
dear. Well, the scores are in. I don't know how you're going to be able to share yours with me, but maybe post them in the Discord. You can compare. I did not do very well at representing this very well because each of the different sections of it are not the best. But yes, not the best. I probably need to redo it, but this is mine. As you can see, the inner ones are spaced very close together, and so it's probably less representative of... It probably looks quite small, but it's probably not supposed to be that size. Couldn't follow the last section. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to do it again, but I just immediately did it wrong again. I need a printout. That's not very helpful. Anyway, that was interesting. Yeah, post it in the Discord. Let me have a look at the Discord. Maybe I can show your pentagrams. Open up Discord. Just made me annoyed. I need this sort of stuff in a quiz form and questions I can read over. That sucks on everything except self-restraint. Yes. What was mine? Let me have a look again. The emotional one was 0, which makes sense. Although sometimes I have meltdowns, but not very often. Self-organization was the most difficulty, which makes sense. Self-restraint was probably 2, but if you discount the risky behavior thing, you could take that down to 1. Self-motivation was a 2. Time management was a 3. Difficulty. Interesting. Pentagrams. But is that what it was? I think it was a pentagram. Let me have a look at our lovely Discord. Oh, you guys are talking to each other. I completely cannot follow auditorial instructions. I'm sorry. This is the video, sadly. What was it called? Let me see if I can find what was it called? I'll find the name, and then we can do a visual version of it. Let's see if I can find executive dysfunction test pentagram. Is it a pentagram? I think it is. There's one from ADD Etude. I don't trust this one. Barclay deficits in executive functioning scale. That's what it was, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Posted mine in autism. Oh, there's some people who have done different quizzes. Let's have a look at yours, Bree. Oh, very good, very nice. So you struggle more with the emotional time management aspect, less so with the organisation. Okay with motivation. Restraint is a lot easier though. Interesting. Very different person to person, isn't it? Let me see if I can get this Barclay's test thing up. Mind test. Well, I've got one from ADD thingy. Oh, it's okay. I see. It's abbreviated. That's why I can't find it. Can you post the website in the chat? I will do. And as soon as I find a good one, so I don't want to take a naff one. It doesn't seem like they have an online version of the test. Can you guys find one? Lots of self-control emotions. I cackled when they said excited easily. I wish I was excited. I could get excited about things. I'm too filled with alexithymia to notice such a thing. Oh, why don't they have an online version of that test? They gave me a computer ADHD test. It was very boring on purpose. On Embrace Autism, they have an executive skills test. Yeah, they've got one from Neurohealth Foundation. Should we just take this one? I mean, I don't want to. Perhaps don't take this. Take this with a grain of salt. I'll send you the one that I do. The one that I'm doing. Oh, it's just like pasting it on top. Why is it doing that? Stop doing that. There we go. I'm going to take that one. I don't know if this is the ideal one to do. Oh, I have to put my email in. One sec. I know my email's public, but I just don't want to make it too accessible, you know. Right. I have trouble getting started or initiating tasks. Yes. I start tasks with enthusiasm, but lose interest quickly. No, it's the opposite for me. I find it hard to do things that aren't necessary or highly stimulating. Disagree. I'm easily distracted by things I see or hear. Nope. I become absorbed in things or tasks that interest me, sometimes to the point of forgetting about people around me. Yes. Monotropism, yeah. I have trouble following conversations because I am distracted or am... No, don't have issues with that. I think this is maybe like ADHD related. I don't know if this is a good one. It's kind of torture. Anytime the test asks for an email cringes, yes. I forget things even when they are important to me. Yes, I do. At least once a day I often misplace items. No. I consistently forget about appointments, yes. And if I do, I'm late. I can't seem to get a handle on clutter. My personal space is messy. There's piles of papers, miscellaneous items. Kind of I'm kind of in the middle. I'm alright, I guess, maybe. I have difficulty figuring out what is most important to me, which should start on a given list of things to do. Yes. I waste my time trying to decide what to do first. Yes. I become frustrated when things don't go as planned and can quickly become angry. I'll let go of my anger as quickly as it came. That's a difficult one because I kind of disagree and agree with little bits of them. I'm just going to say yes. I have trouble completing multiple step tasks and moving from one task to another. Yep. I will say do it later and then forget all about it. Yes. You guys have experience with that. Right. Send me the test. Mofo. Likelihood of having executive function symptoms, I scored a 9. We'll get in touch with you shortly. Please don't. I appreciate you not doing that. But I did just share my email, so I guess I brought that on myself. You scored an 8. You scored less than me. I know. I win. I'm the greater. I am superior in my executive dysfunction. Yeah. I mean, you can take this, for anyone watching on replay, you can take this one if you want, but I'd probably advise against it. The websites that allow you to finish 50 to 100 question test only to ask for your email and credit card. Yeah. That is very true, Valentine. Oh my god. Well, that was interesting. Thank you very much to Arij-IK de Haas. That was the executive dysfunction test. Please let me know and perhaps post in the Discord pictures of your own little pentagram. If you feel like you want to. No pressure, of course. But if you have enjoyed this, please make sure to go and check out their channel, give them a subscribe, drop them a like. It will be down in the description, the link as per usual. And if you are feeling particularly generous today, please go ahead and like and subscribe and do all that stuff, because apparently it's mandatory for me to point that out, even though, like, I think most people have an idea, but apparently still need to do it.